Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Learn English Through Podcast.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see you again. I'm Jack.
And I'm Emma. Today we have a really interesting topic.
Yes, we're going to talk about transportation, how to get around, how to ask about travel, and some useful English phrases.
Before we start, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more learners.
Absolutely. Okay, Emma, how are you today?
I'm feeling great, thank you. And you, Jack?
I'm good, though I stayed up a bit late last night. But I'm excited to talk about transportation today.
Oh, me too. Let's start by sharing how we get to work. How did you come to the studio today?
I took the subway. The train was a little crowded, but I managed to get a seat after a few stops.
The subway can be busy, can't it?
Yes, especially during rush hour. How about you?
I drove my car this morning. Traffic was moderate, nothing too bad.
Driving can be convenient, but sometimes stressful.
True. I enjoy driving, but it's not relaxing when the city is full of cars.
That's why I usually prefer the train or bus. I can read or listen to music without worrying about traffic.
Yes, public transport has that advantage. And sometimes walking is a nice alternative too.
Definitely. I like walking for short distances. It's healthy and gives you time to think.
Speaking of short distances, do you sometimes ride a bicycle?
I do, but only when the weather is good. Rainy days are not fun for cycling.
That's true. And bicycles are not just healthy, they're also environmentally friendly.
Exactly. So we've talked about cars, buses, subways, bicycles, and walking. What about longer trips?
Oh, airplanes. I flew to Italy last year. It was amazing.
Flying is fast, but airports can be overwhelming.
Yes, but I love traveling to new countries, seeing new cities, trying local food. That's the best part.
Definitely. Did you use public transportation in Italy too?
Mostly. I took the metro in the city, and I also rented a bicycle a few times.
Sounds fun. What about taxis? Did you take one?
Just once, from the airport to my hotel. It was a bit expensive, but I was tired, so it was worth it.
That's reasonable. Sometimes convenience matters more than cost.
Exactly. And taxis are good when you have luggage or need a quick ride.
Let's talk about trains. I enjoy long train journeys. You can look out the window and relax.
Me too. And you can move around on the train, which is better than a crowded bus.
Right. I sometimes take a train to visit my family. It takes about 2 hours.
2 hours is nice. You can read, listen to music, or even take a short nap.
Yes, it makes the trip enjoyable.
How about boats? Have you ever traveled by boat?
A ferry once. The sea was calm and it was very relaxing.
That sounds wonderful. I've never taken a long ferry trip, but I'd like to.
You should try it. But be careful on rough days. The waves can make the ride bumpy.
Oh yes, motion sickness is not fun.
Exactly. But on a calm day, it's perfect.
So Jack, we've talked about cars, buses, subways, bicycles, walking, trains, airplanes, taxis, and boats. Are we missing anything?
Maybe scooters or electric bikes. They're becoming very popular in the city.
True. Some people prefer scooters for short trips. They're fast and convenient.
But traffic can be dangerous for scooters, so you need to be careful.
Yes, and for very short distances, walking is still the safest and healthiest option.
Agreed. Walking is free too.
Absolutely. Free is always a good thing.
Let's talk about some common problems. What do you do if your transportation is late?
I usually feel a little stressed. I check my watch a lot.
Same here. If the train is late, I call my friend and let them know.
That's a good idea. Everyone understands delays.
Speaking of which, let's introduce some useful words for transportation learners.
Perfect. First word, commute.
Commute means the regular trip you take to work or school.
For example, my commute is 45 minutes by train.
Next word, rush hour.
Rush hour is the busy time in the morning and evening when roads and public transport are crowded.
Not a fun time, but important to know the term.
Next, on foot.
It means walking. I go to school on foot, short and simple.
And public transportation.
Public transportation is for everyone. Buses, trains, subways, etc. Using it is often cheaper and better for the environment.
Then we have fare, the money you pay for a trip.
Example, the bus fare is $2.
And route, the path a bus or train takes.
Like the number 10 bus route goes through the city center.
Delay is another common word.
Yes, it means something is late. The train has a 15-minute delay.
And finally, platform, the area where you wait for the train at a station.
Like, your train departs from platform 3.
That's a lot of useful words already.
Don't worry if it's too much. Focus on one or two at a time.
That's right. Little by little, your English improves.
Let's pause here. We've covered a lot already. Different transportation types, travel experiences, problems like delays, and useful vocabulary.
Yes, and in the next part, we will continue with more examples, conversations, and phrases to make your English more natural.
Emma, have you ever tried a ride-sharing app?
I have, but not very often. I usually use it when I need to go somewhere quickly and don't want to wait for the bus.
Same here. They can be really convenient, especially if you have luggage or are in a hurry.
Yes, and sometimes the price is reasonable if you split the fare with friends.
True. Speaking of fares, it's interesting how prices vary between transportation types.
Oh yes, for example, taking a taxi is usually more expensive than the bus.
Right. And flying is generally the fastest, but it's often the most expensive too.
Exactly, but for long distances, sometimes the plane is worth it.
Definitely. And trains? They can be comfortable and relaxing, even if they take longer.
I agree. On a train, I like to bring a book or just watch the scenery go by.
That's one thing I love too. Cities, countryside, rivers, you see a lot from the train.
By the way, when traveling abroad, it's good to know the local transportation options.
Absolutely. For example, some cities have very convenient metro systems, while others rely more on buses or trams.
And don't forget walking. In many European cities, walking is actually the fastest way to move around short distances.
That's true. Walking also gives you a chance to discover small shops, cafes, and parks.
Speaking of parks, sometimes taking a bicycle can be very scenic too.
Yes, and it's fun. But it can be tiring if you're not used to cycling long distances.
That's why it's nice to combine transportation types. For example, you can take a train and then rent a bicycle at your destination.
That's smart. And some cities even have electric bicycles or scooters for short trips.
Right, they are very popular, especially in big cities. But safety is important.
Yes, helmets, lights, and paying attention to traffic rules are essential.
Do you think bicycles and scooters are better than cars for the environment?
Definitely. Less pollution and less noise. Cars can be stressful in busy cities.
And public transportation also helps the environment because more people share one vehicle instead of using separate cars.
That's a great point. And for your daily commute, sometimes public transport saves time too, especially in heavy traffic.
Yes, but what do you do when your bus or train is delayed?
I try to stay calm. I check the schedule again and sometimes find an alternative route.
I do the same. And if it's a train, I sometimes message my work or friends to let them know.
That's smart. Communication is important.
Absolutely. And it's good to have a little patience when traveling. Not everything goes perfectly.
True. Transportation teaches patience.
Let's practice some phrases that are useful when talking about transportation.
Great idea. First, I go by. For example, I go by bus or I go by car.
Yes, and you can also say I take, like I take the train to work.
That's right. One difference is that we usually say take for vehicles you don't drive yourself, like buses, taxis, or trains.
And by is used with cars, planes, bicycles, and so on.
Exactly. And for walking, we say, I go on foot.
A simple but useful phrase, and it works for any distance if you're walking.
Next, let's talk about asking questions. How do you ask someone about their travel?
You can ask, how do you get to work? Or how did you get here?
Good. And the answer could be, I take the bus, or I come by car.
Another useful question is, how long does it take you to get to?
For example, how long does it take you to school?
And the answer could be, it takes 30 minutes by train or about 15 minutes on foot.
Perfect. And we can also talk about problems. For example, What do you do if the bus is late?
Or, what happens if your taxi doesn't arrive on time?
These are very common situations in everyday life.
And it's good to know how to explain them in English.
For example, my bus is delayed. I have to wait another 10 minutes.
Or, the taxi didn't come, so I called another one.
Let's also practice talking about preferences.
Good idea. For example, I prefer traveling by train because it's comfortable.
And you could say, I like walking for short distances, or I don't like crowded buses.
Right, and you can explain why. I don't like crowded buses because it's hard to find a seat.
Or, I like bicycles because it's healthy and good for the environment.
Very clear. And it's also useful to talk about long trips.
For instance, I usually fly when I visit another country because it's fast.
Or, I take the train for long trips because I can relax and enjoy the view.
And sometimes combining methods works best. I fly to a city, then take a taxi to my hotel and walk around the city.
That's very common for tourists.
And for local trips, we can combine public transport and walking. I take the bus to the subway station, then I walk to my office.
Exactly, and using different words can make your English more natural.
Now, let's introduce a few more vocabulary words.
Yes, first, traffic jam.
A traffic jam happens when cars are stuck on the road and cannot move easily.
Example, there was a traffic jam this morning, so I was late.
Next, connection.
Connection is when you switch from one vehicle to another. For example, I have a connection at the next station.
Good. Then we have commuter.
A commuter is someone who travels to work or school regularly.
Exactly. I am a commuter. I take the train every day to my office.
And boarding.
Boarding means getting on a bus, train, or plane. Boarding starts in 10 minutes.
Last word for today, departure.
Departure means when a bus, train, or plane leaves. The train departure is at 8:30 a.m.
These words will help you sound more natural when talking about transportation.
Definitely. And they're easy to use once you practice a little.
Let's make a small conversation using some of these words.
Sure. Hi, Emma. How was your commute today?
Hello, Jack. It was fine, but there was a small traffic jam. I had to wait 10 minutes longer than usual.
Oh, I see. Did you take a connection on your train?
Yes, I changed at the central station and then walked to the studio.
Perfect. That's a typical commute story.
Exactly. And practicing these conversations makes real-life communication much easier.
Jack, we talked about many ways to travel. I think it's interesting to compare them.
Yes. Some people like speed, others like comfort, and some like saving money.
For example, airplanes are fast, but trains are more relaxing.
And buses can be cheap, but sometimes crowded.
Exactly. What's your favorite way to travel, Jack?
I think I prefer trains. They give me space, I can read, and I don't have to drive.
I like trains too, but for short trips, walking or riding a bicycle is my favorite.
That's a healthy choice. And sometimes, walking is faster than taking a vehicle in a busy city.
True. And you can enjoy the surroundings. Parks, shops, street performers, all visible while walking.
Have you ever lost something while traveling?
Oh, yes. Once I left my scarf on the train.
I had a similar experience with my umbrella on the bus.
It's always frustrating. That's why it's important to keep your belongings close.
Absolutely. And speaking of safety, motorcycles can be risky for some people.
Yes, I avoid motorcycles because they feel dangerous. 4 wheels are safer.
Boats can be relaxing, but only if the water is calm. Rough seas are difficult.
That's right, but a ferry trip on a sunny day is wonderful. Blue water, warm sun, it's peaceful.
And for tourists, boats offer a unique perspective of the city or coastline.
Speaking of unique trips, have you tried electric scooters?
I've seen many people using them, but I haven't tried myself. Traffic can be tricky.
Yes, but they're fast for short distances, especially in a crowded city.
And very convenient if you don't want to walk far.
Another tip, combining transportation can save time. For instance, a train for the main trip, then walking or a taxi for the last part.
That's very common in big cities. And it's also useful for sightseeing.
Exactly. And when we combine methods, it's important to know the schedules and routes.
Speaking of schedules, delays happen often.
Yes, but if you stay calm, you can find alternatives or inform someone about the delay.
Patience is very important in transportation.
Absolutely. And now let's practice some more conversation phrases about transportation.
Good idea. For example, How do you usually get to school?
And the answer could be, I usually take the bus, but sometimes I walk if the weather is nice.
Another one, how long does it take to get to work?
You could answer, it takes about 45 minutes by train or 15 minutes on foot.
And for problems, what do you do if the train is delayed?
I wait patiently, check the schedule, and sometimes take another train if it's too late.
Preferences? What is your favorite way to travel?
I love trains for long trips and walking or cycling for short trips.
These simple questions and answers are very useful for everyday English.
Let's review the vocabulary we learned so far. Commute, rush hour, on foot, public transportation, fare, route, delay, platform.
And traffic jam, connection, commuter, boarding, departure.
That's a lot of words, but don't worry, you don't need to learn them all at once.
Yes, focus on one or two each week and try to use them in real conversations.
Let's try a small role play using some words.
Sure. Hi, Emma. How was your commute today?
Hello, Jack. It was okay, but there was a traffic jam. I missed my connection to the subway.
Oh no. Did you arrive late at work?
A little late, but I called to inform them. Next time, I'll leave earlier.
That's a very natural conversation, and it shows how to use the vocabulary in context.
Yes, real-life practice is the best way to remember new words.
Another practice. What is your dream way to travel?
I'd love a fast train that can take me to any city in 1 hour.
Wow, that would be amazing. My dream is a comfortable bicycle for long trips, peaceful and eco-friendly.
It's fun to think about dreams. They also help you practice new vocabulary.
Exactly. And it's okay to talk about both realistic and imaginative trips.
Let's summarize what we practiced today.
We talked about cars, buses, trains, bicycles, walking, taxis, airplanes, boats, scooters, and subways.
And we learned how to ask and answer questions about travel, explain preferences, and handle problems like delays.
Plus, we practiced vocabulary words: commute, rush hour, fare, route, platform, traffic jam, connection, commuter, boarding, and departure.
We also gave tips for combining transportation, staying safe, and being patient.
Exactly. And remember, small steps every day make your English better.
Now let's do a mini practice. I will ask and Jack can answer.
Great.
How's that?
How do you usually get to work?
I usually take the train. Sometimes I walk if the weather is nice.
Good. How long does it take?
About 40 minutes, including a short walk from the station.
Excellent. What do you do if there's a delay?
I check the schedule, maybe take another train, and always inform someone if I'm late.
Perfect. You're using the words naturally.
Now you, Emma, how do you get to the studio? I drive most of the time. It takes around 30 minutes, but traffic can be tricky.
That's very common in big cities. Do you ever take public transportation?
Occasionally, I take the subway when I want to avoid parking problems.
Great. These conversations are very useful for everyday life.
And our viewers can practice by answering similar questions.
Exactly. For example, try writing in the comments. How do you get to work or school?
Or, what is your favorite transportation?
You can also describe a problem. What do you do if the bus is late?
Practicing in writing or speaking makes learning faster.
That's right. And remember, using new words in context is better than memorizing them alone.
Absolutely. Let's recap our key tips for today.
1. Know different transportation types: car, bus, train, subway, bicycle, walking, taxi, airplane, boat, scooter.
2. Learn useful phrases. I go by, I take, I go on foot, how do you get?
3. Use vocabulary words: commute, rush hour, fare, route, platform, traffic jam, connection, commuter, boarding, and departure.
4. Combine transportation methods for convenience.
5. Keep belongings safe and practice patience.
6. Discuss preferences and problems naturally in conversation.
7. Practice every day, little by little.
That's a lot of useful advice.
Yes, and even small practice can make a big difference.
So, what's next? I think viewers should try making their own sentences using the words and phrases we taught.
Exactly. For example, my commute is 30 minutes by bus. Or, I prefer walking for short trips.
Or even, the train was delayed this morning, but I waited patiently.
Perfect examples. Simple, clear, and useful.
And don't worry if you make mistakes. Everyone does when learning English.
Yes, The important thing is to practice and keep learning.
We hope our viewers feel more confident talking about transportation now.
Yes, cars, buses, trains, bicycles, walking, planes, boats, taxis, scooters. Now you can talk about them naturally.
And with the vocabulary words, you can discuss trips, problems, preferences, and dream travels.
Keep practicing. Try speaking with friends or writing in the comments.
Little by little, your English will improve.
Thank you for spending time with us today.
Yes, it was a wonderful conversation.
Keep learning, stay curious, and enjoy your travels.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.